Hello, I'm Kelly Byrne, Downingtown Area School District's K-12 Supervisor of Mathematics and Coordinator of Data Analysis. The purpose of this presentation is to inform the public of school performance profiles, or known as SPPs. Pennsylvania will now be using SPPs to inform schools and the public about student achievement and growth. So let's get started. Schools' accountability used to be measured via a tool called AYP, or Annual Yearly Progress. That is the percentage of students who scored advanced or proficient on the state tests. Remember the PSSAs? Other things associated with AYP are No Child Left Behind, Made AYP, Making Progress, In Warning, School Improvement, Corrective Action. Accountability is now being judged by School Performance Profiles, or SPP. Via a waiver approved by the United States Department of Education, starting this year, SPP will be PA Schools' accountability measure. It will replace No Child Left Behind and AYP. It is based upon indicators that define a high-performing school based on research and best practices. The purpose of the SPP is, first of all, to provide building-level academic scores. Each school will receive a building-level academic score for teachers as part of their educator effectiveness system beginning in 2013-14. Districts will not receive such a score, however. Only schools will receive those scores. The score comprises 15% of each teacher's evaluation and will be part of the new educator effectiveness system. It will also be part of the principal's evaluation in the future. The second purpose for SPP is to inform the public of schools' performance. Inform the public of the school's performance in every district and every school in Pennsylvania, including comprehensive college and technology centers, cyber charter schools, and charter schools. The third purpose is to provide parents and stakeholders with performance measures for the school and district of residence, neighboring schools and districts, and schools and districts across the state. And the ultimate goal or purpose of SPP is that districts and schools can use this information to align performance and focus resources to improve student achievement via best practices. So what does SPP include? The first thing that you'll see on these reports is going to be Fast Facts tab. And on that Fast Facts tab, you will find demographic data and other relevant data for each school and district. All schools' Fast Facts will include test participation rates for PSSAs and Keystone exams. High school Fast Facts will also include average SAT and ACT scores, if applicable. The information is not part of the school's building level academic scores. It's just there as information for constituents. The SPP will also include the building level academic score based upon a 100-point scale. It is calculated based upon defined weighted data elements. Some of these elements are the same at all three school levels, elementary, middle school, and high school, while some of the elements vary from level to level. This will be explained in a few minutes. So, what are some of the indicators used to collect the scores? The first one is academic achievement, and that is 40% of each school's SPP score. It is based on the percent of students proficient or advanced on the PSSA in mathematics, reading, science, and writing for elementary and middle schools. That's what we used to refer to as AYP, or Annual Yearly Progress. So we'll still see that result, we just see it now as part of the SPP. For the high schools and middle schools, they will get the percent of students who are proficient or advanced on the Keystone exams in algebra, biology, and literature. For the middle schools, that will just be Algebra 1, though. All levels would also include passive results for students who take alternative assessments. Also included for the high schools will be the percent of students competent or advanced on the industry-based competency test for career and technology center students. One of these tests that our students at East and West have taken is called DNOCTI, which relates to career readiness. The percent of students proficient or advanced on PSSA Grade 3 reading, which is for the elementary schools. Research says that students' reading proficiency by the end of grade 3 can be a make or break benchmark in a child's educational development. Academic success, defined by high school graduation, can be predicted pretty accurately by knowing a child's reading skills by the end of third grade. SAT and ACT exams, those are college-ready benchmarks, and will count at the high schools. The next category is for closing the achievement gap for all students. Scores will show how well a school is making progress toward proficiency for all students. This will be over a 6-year period and will include mathematics, reading, science, and writing. This statistic is not going to be used, however, in this year's SPP calculations because the 2012-13 results are being used as the school's baseline to start closing the achievement gap. The benchmark of success in this category is defined as closing half of the achievement gap over a 6-year period. The third category, which is called closing the achievement gap for historically low performing students, is another 5%. So schools so far have been given 40% for academic achievement. They get 5% for closing the achievement gap of all students. They get another 5% for closing the achievement gap for historically low performing students. This is a new super subgroup. No Child Left Behind always required schools and districts to monitor how well certain subgroups of students perform compared to the overall group. Instead of tracking these individual subgroups, PA will now keep track of what is called a super subgroup. Scores from this super subgroup will show how well schools are making progress towards proficiency of students who have historically underperformed. This includes special education students, economically disadvantaged students, and English language learner students. This again will be over a 6-year period, and it includes mathematics, reading, science, and writing. Again, this statistics will not be used this year because this will be the baseline and the start of this statistics. The fourth indicator for students getting their score will be annual academic growth expectations, which is also 40%. So it is equal to academic achievement. Meeting annual academic growth expectations is based on PVAS, P-V-A-A-S, which is the Pennsylvania Value-Added Assessment System. It's a measure of student growth and progress across the tested grade levels. It is based on the average growth index. The average growth index is converted to a scale which is ranging from 50 to 100 points. In other words, this statistics answers the question, did a group of students grow academically as much as expected within 1 year of school? This is comparing the same groups of students' growth year to year. So if you were in 3rd grade last year, you are being compared in 4th grade to your 3rd grade results. It's not like we're comparing two different groups of students. It is the impact that a school has on students' learning. PVAS is also based on mathematics, reading, science, and writing. The 5th category for the indicators for calculating SPP will be other academic indicators, which is worth 10% of the overall score. Those other academic indicators include cohort graduation rate for high schools, which is the percent of students in the school who graduate in 4 years with a regular high school diploma. Promotion rates for elementary and middle schools. Again, due to data calculation issues, the promotion rate will not be used in this year's SPP calculations. Attendance rates for all levels, elementary, middle school, and high school. The high schools will also get points for advanced placement or AP, international baccalaureate or IB, and dual enrollment programs offered at the high school level. This is worth a maximum of 100 points. A school receives 25 points for each course offered. High schools will also receive points for PSAT and the plan participation. So that gives us our 5 indicators combined, and it's worth 100% at each level. Each level is also offered extra credit. The extra credit is given to schools based on the percent of students scoring advanced on the PSSA or on the Keystone, the percent of students scoring advanced on the NOCTI at the Chester County Technical College High School, the percent of students scoring 3 or higher on AP exams, and in some cases this extra credit could add up to 5 possible points. How does SPP look like at an elementary school? Let's take a look at what it will look like for any specific elementary school. So what we'll see is the academic achievement, which is worth 40%. Mathematics, percentage of proficient and advanced on the PSSA. Reading will also be the percentage of proficient and advanced on the PSSA. Science, again, will be the percentage proficient and advanced on the PSSA. Writing will also be the percentage of proficient and advanced on the PSSA. And grade 3 PSSA reading will be the percentage of proficient plus advanced. For closing the achievement gap, it will be the percentage of required gap closure met in all 4 areas: mathematics, reading, science, and writing. And at the high school will be for the 3 Keystone exams. Remember, this statistic is not being used this year since the 2012-13 results will be the school's baselines. Closing the achievement gap for historically underperforming students is another 5% and will be given for the percentage of required gap closure met. Remember, this statistic is also not being included in these results. And these are the students who are special education, economically disadvantaged, and/or English language learners. Some students might appear in all 3 of those subgroups, but they will only count once in the super subgroup of historically underperforming students. Next is the academic growth, or PVOS, another 40%. PVOS is comparing the same groups of students year to year, and if it exceeded, met, or did not meet the annual growth expectation for that group during 1 year of school. This statistic does not deal with students' achievement or what they bring to school with them. Achievement is affected by demographics, whereas PVOS measures growth or what happens while students are in school. This is not impacted by demographics. It is impacted by the learning experience provided by each school. Other academic indicators that are counted at the elementary level are attendance rate and promotion rate. Due to data collection errors, the state has decided to not use schools' promotion rates in this year's academic performance scores. For a district such as Downingtown with high promotion rates, the elimination of this statistic into the calculation decreased the middle schools and elementary schools' academic performance scores. Promotion rate is not an indicator for the high schools because that level has graduation rate. Extra credit given at the elementary level. The extra credit would give an elementary school a maximum of 4 points above and beyond the 100-point scale. So they're given 1 point for mathematics, the percent of advanced on mathematics PSSA. They're given a percent for advanced on reading PSSA, a percent for advanced on science PSSA, and a percent for advanced on the writing PSSA. So, what does it really look like based on these calculations? So let's talk about an elementary school. I've made up the data, and let's talk about how their building level academic score will actually be calculated. So if we look at our school here, we have a school that has 91.34% of its students are advanced and proficient in mathematics, 91.64% are advanced and proficient in reading, 91.57% of the students are advanced and proficient in science, 89.4% of students are advanced and proficient in writing, and 89.87% of the third graders were advanced or proficient in reading. Note that the factor value for grade 3 reading is higher than the factor value for the grades 3 through 5 math, reading, science, or writing. So we take the performance measure, we multiply it by the factor value, and that gives us the number of points we receive for each of those data elements. The next thing schools would be given credit for would be closing the achievement gap of all students and closing the achievement gap of historically underperforming students. However, those statistics will not be used this year, and this will be the baseline to start to be used next year. The next thing that schools get credit for is their academic growth. Each school is given 100 points per data element, which will be multiplied by 10% to yield a point value. Building level PVOS points are based on PVOS index and then converted to a 100-point scale. Notice that the growth is given a higher factor value of 10% than did achievement, which was given 7.5%. Growth is very important to schools' building level academic scores. So for math, they were given a 70. What this means is that they barely showed that there's evidence that the expectation was met for this cohort. Reading, however, the school was given 85 points. So their growth index is showing moderate evidence that the growth expectation was exceeded. For science, this school got a 78, which means there's evidence that the expectation was met. And for writing, this school was given 100 points, and that says that there is a significant evidence that the expectation was exceeded by this cohort. So this school was relatively high performing. It had in the 90s for its percentage of advanced and proficient, but its growth isn't that high. If a school gets a score less than 70 for academic growth, the cohort of students did not meet the expectation and did not make a year's worth of growth. Even if the overall achievement level of students declines, this does not mean that the students did not learn. So the minimum score for this is 50 points. They just didn't learn as much as they were expected to have learned. A decline in overall achievement levels would indicate that the students did not perform as they were expected to based on the results from prior testing administrations. For this school, under other academic indicators, promotion rate, like I said before, is not being used this year, so our schools didn't get any points for that, nor did any other schools. The attendance rate, this school had a 96.25% attendance rate. The factor value is 5%, so this school will get 4.81 points for its attendance rate. So when you calculate all those scores together, you get 74.4 points out of 85 points, which gives you a calculated score of 87.53 prior to extra credit. So for extra credit, this school gets extra credit based on the percentage of advanced, only advanced, not proficient, in math, reading, science, and writing on the PSSAs. This school had 63.78% of the students advanced in mathematics, 52.02% advanced in reading, 72.29% advanced in science, and 1.75% advanced in writing. For each of those categories, it is multiplied by a factor value of 1%. So this school received 0.64 points for math, 0.52 points extra credit for reading, 0.72 points for science, and 0.02 points extra credit for writing. Add that all up. Take the calculated score, which was 87.53, add the extra credit of 1.9 points, and the final score for this school is 89.43. This is a relatively high-performing school with a good attendance rate. All of those academic scores were in the 90s, if you remember. Its academic growth is not overall exceeding expectation, though, so it earns a building level academic score in the high 80s. If you have any questions about your school's achievement or growth, please contact the school's principal. To find out about your school's school performance profile, there will be a link to the Pennsylvania's SPP, which can be found at the top of each school's website. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.